This is the relay. Alright, now when I try to start it, it shouldn't start. Not for long anyways. That's what it should do. I could definitely use better lights. You know, I have a solution to this. What you can use those lighting from the early 80s for. And let there be light. Now let's see if I can get these screws out. I've heard someone say that they're pretty bad to get out. Well, that screwdriver's not going to work. Sorry, I just bent the screwdriver. And there goes the screw head again.
Or is it breaking or stripping out or what?
The walls and the screw collapse. It's not strong. It's I guess. Yep, I'm probably gonna have to use the extractor kit. I don't think there's enough screw head to get a purchase on. They are too rotten to do anything with other than drill and tap them. That's what I'm gonna have to do: drill and tap them. And I don't know if I have a drill bit for it. So. Sometimes. And off with his head.
Okay, so to catch everybody up on what's going on with us reaching underneath the giant glowing house table lamp from the 80s that is now our light source, had to tap and drill the screws out.
They start that. I'm going to have to do some of them after it's in because the holes are not exactly where they were, so I've got to set what I've got and then work with the others, because the screws are a little harder metal than the tank, so the drill is kind of getting offset. I've got two holes pretty close to where they were. I'm cutting the sending unit in, so I've got two holes to set this, and then and there's a little basin in here for this to sit in. So of course you have this thing that's bent that you got to get back in this basin, which is easier said than done because there's a brake line in the way too. There we go. But there's ballast, there's basically dividing walls in the tank to help keep any debris from building up. And I had my arm down there trying to clear out anything that may have fallen in. And I cleared it out best I could. And now I'm trying to get everything back where it's supposed to be. Which the sending unit I got, the gasket on its little nubs are supposed to hold the gasket up, won't stay in their assigned positions. Recording. Finally got the new part in, and I had to go to the hardware store to get a nut that would work because it was standard, and that's why the wing nuts are there. That's the only standard ones I had. that was anywhere close to this size. I didn't really expect it to be standard. But it was, I think it was a 30? It was interesting. That's what it was. I got some washers, but go on and pull this out and get this together. Put some silicone spray on it and see if that takes care of it, because it's not going to fit easily the way I was doing it. Try to take a paper towel and get anything out of it so it doesn't get pulled up into the sensor, even though it shouldn't hurt anything. Nope, I set them on top of the car so I'd have them at reach. Makes things convenient for myself, and it confuses me. Okay. There we go. Now let's see if this will go in. Maybe I am not going to use the nut to tighten it down. I'm going to use the nut to try to stabilize it so I can push down with it on it without it popping up on that side. Using washer and a lock washer. And that washer probably went somewhere. I'll never see it again. Yeah, it went somewhere. I'm never going to get it again. That's alright, I got more washers. I wonder if there's a tool they use to press this thing in, so you can get more purchase on it. I have a pair of pliers somewhere. There they are. Let's see if that helps any, if I'm centered on that. Come on. I'm gonna grab me another washer. Try that again. Maybe that will work better if I have that, so I can, since I'm having to put pressure a little further back than dead center, because dead center is where the nub is. It makes me wonder if the one that was on the other one hadn't broke, if I would have even been able to get it on anyways. Because judging from this, the answer is probably no. That should be cool. I thought that was 3/8. Maybe it just won't fit. Maybe it just won't fit. Let's try a 7/16, see what it does. 7/16 is too small. Did you actually fall in the bag of screws? Oh, let's see if it's 10mm. It is a 10mm. Okay. Never goes easily. Oh. I'm going to be at this for a while, looks like. The O-ring is not wanting to relax enough to go in there. Maybe if I'm pushing on that and that at the same time, it'll do something. Awkward shape to put pressure on equally. And not a pleasant feel, as you can see. It's got sharp points. So being careful not to put weight on that stub. Do it slow and steady. It's starting to go in there. I'll back that off a little bit and see if I'm a little off angle. I may be a little off. Being flat on that. Starting to go down, just taking a while. Even lubricated, it's not wanting to go because that's a. I wonder if it's supposed to be a flat ring and it's a round ring. So it is not wanting to sit down exactly right. There's nothing I can do about that because I don't have another O-ring to replace it with. Nor do I know if it'll make a difference. It's starting to go in there. It's just doesn't want to sink all the way. I wish I had a little bit of petroleum jelly for this thing. I thought it did, but it did not. I guess it's all gone. I thought it was out here too, and it's not. Alright, let's back it back out. Let's just bounce back up now. Let's just bounce back up and let's just stuff back out. Should not be this difficult. It should be a stiff push, but not an impossible push, so I'm going to try something else on it. Silicone spray trip did not work, and I don't have any way to do anything. Like the petroleum jelly tricks and all I've heard for using on this type of parts, but I don't seem to have any. But I've heard mixed things on it, so I don't know if it's wise or not. So I'm just going to try a little dab of oil. little dab of mineral oil. That's all it is mineral oil. Let's see if that does it. See if a little dab of mineral oil does it. Yep, that just happened. Mineral's cheap, luckily. I can clean that up, though. Try and multitask. Good news is my garage floor will not rust now. I say that and it'll rust. That's got a big gasket section. Come on. Get that on there. Mineral oil on this shirt. Waterproofing. Could argue on waterproofing it. That one spot. If I do a couple more paper towels. There. Hold those. Fold those over a few times. Top here. I bet you there's some specialty tool that can be used to press this on. Because there's points on the sides, like there's something that's supposed to clip onto it. Removal and retrieval tool, but I do not have that, and I do not know what it would be or how to get one. Have to shave it down a little bit. I do not want to have to shave it down a little bit, but I may have to shave it down a little bit. Because it's flexing the whole plate. And fuel tank and everything. Okay. After much more finagling and fighting with this thing, kind of got it on. I think what the issue was, I don't think the washer was proper for it, the O-ring. As you can see, it kind of shaved itself off. I fought with it, got it part way in, couldn't get any further, pulled it back out, and it has shaved part of the rubber O-ring off. And just wiggling it back and forth and trying to wiggle it down. Now it's actually sitting. And I've gotten it close. I'm still working on it. because it's still not quite perfectly seated. Trying not to be too rough with it. Trying to get it down there too. You can see the bolts on there, but not tight. That way I can move it back and forth. And I can't put much weight on that side because of that nipple, so that keeps it from pulling up and going in at an angle. So I just keep working that down a little bit and kind of gently wiggling it down, and it's slowly going down a little bit by a little bit. And I put anti-seize on that screw. You'll see there's some on the plastic too, just because they got there, but that way this one shouldn't seize up like the old one did. It's better than other vehicles I've had. I had a Jeep Fiat product, Renegade, that someone at the factory used red thread lock on the brake caliper, so you could not take the lock screw out. So I ended up not being able to change. Luckily the rotors were not rotors were not bad, but they put it on the rotor lock screw, so you could not take it out without drilling it out. And luckily they weren't that bad, so I didn't actually have to change them. I was just going to, for safety's sake, and that's finally in. That was a lot of wiggling and working it in. I'm going to make sure it's getting down before I tighten that all down. I do not want to torque this because this is not a cheap part. I got this one for about $70. A lot of them cost $200, so I do not want to break this. That should be tight enough to set the lock screw, the lock washer, and that's not going to move around any. And I think that's it. It's getting in there. There it goes. Knew it just had just a little tiny bit more to set. I got it. Okay. And dielectric grease. Help keep this from corroding. Because 20-year-old vehicle, these gasket seals are not bad, but it's a 20-year-old vehicle, so I would not bet money on them staying vapor tight. A little bit of this spray on the gasket. This one actually has a rubber one. The other one did not have a rubber one. So it just popped in. Well, that's not what I was wanting, but it worked. And let's see if it, there it goes, and it goes home. There's home. There we go. Now all I need to do is figure out what I did with my piece of line. And as you can see, I've swapped out the, help one of my roommates, I've swapped out the visor. So we have a visor that matches now and actually fits the vehicle, which is nice. So it's not messing up the mirror. I also find it amazing that the mirror is attached to the roof instead of being glued to the windshield, which is nice. Now if I could just remember where I put my little piece of vent hose. There it is. Blending in with the extension cords. We'll put this on and try to feed it back through the vent thing. It's got a little track here for it to go through. And let's see if I got light. There's light. But I'm not going to worry about putting a clip on this because this is just a vent line. And the goal is to get it to go down instead of coming up into the cab. And there we go. And this is all done. Now I'll put the fuse back in and try to start it and see what it does. Okay. Control fuse. Back in. We'll leave that box off for now. And let's see if it starts. The keys are in the seat. Of course, the key. Short people. It's running. And stop. I'll see why it won't start. But I forgot about a ground wire. Probably why it wouldn't start. So let's put this back on and let's see if it starts. Okay, let's try this again. Yay, no bonging. Can't hear if it's running or not. Too much equipment noise. Not functional apparently. Let's see why. Let's make sure this is okay. And that would be why. This would be why this pump is not working. Fun times. Fun times. Okay, I need a flat screwdriver. Pop that back out. Well, this is going to be fun. Going to be all kinds of fun, I tell you what. Because it's a bad electrical plug. Great. That's going to be all kinds of fun. So that's it for now. We're back at this again. This time because I'm having some issues with seal. I talked about having to fix that switch down here. That one there going into the pump.